He is with CKP Insurance, and he's going to give us a little presentation about a program that's been going for the past few years. So we'll turn the time over to Mike Brown. Mike, Mike.
Are you unmuted, Mike?
No, he's not.
We can see you, but we can't hear you, Mike.
What does he have to do? Okay.
For us, it's the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, that little microphone button there.
Now he's gone.
You might be rebooting or something.
Oh, there he is. He's connecting to us again.
He's good.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We can see you now, and we can hear you now. So,
okay, when I went to click on mute, it all disappeared. I don't know why. All right, so I'm going to click this share screen. We'll see how this works, I guess. It says the host disabled participant screen sharing.
We'll get you enabled, Mike. Stick with us. Try it now.
Should be good.
All
right. Can you see that now?
Nothing yet.
Can you click on the sharing?
Yeah, I clicked on it, and I'm clicking on the one I want to share, but it's not.
Then lower right-hand corner, there you go.
That's coming up.
There you go.
Okay, so you got my presentation there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good to go.
Okay, there we go. All right, so you can see everything, you can hear me. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Mike. Go
okay. All right, so sorry. The only time I ever do this Zoom thing is when I'm listening to Sunday school. So that's the limit of my experience. Dr. Seeley did a great job. So I'm Mike Browning. I'm with Beekeeping Insurance Services and CKP Insurance. You're probably familiar with the Bee Culture magazine, and if you open up the front page, you'll see our ad here every month. We've been a sponsor for this, or an advertiser in this magazine for a good long time, and so you may be familiar with this. We write about 88% of all the beekeepers in the United States with this program. So what I want to do is just kind of run through it so that you know, you can understand a little bit what it is that we're doing. A little background on me: my family are beekeepers. Started with my great-grandfather, then my grandfather, my dad, and my uncle. Now my cousins all run it. My dad didn't want to stay in it, so he moved. And but these little pictures right here, that little guy is me, and with my grandfather back, you know, a few years ago. So I've been involved in this industry for quite a long time. And now I do this as a result of that experience, and I'm doing this program for the beekeepers. So the program is managed by the Risk Management Agency. And then the Risk Management Agency, which is a division of the Department of Agriculture, they have approved insurance providers that sell and service this crop insurance program all throughout the United States. The Army backs these approved insurance providers who share risk associated with the catastrophic losses due to major weather events. So basically what it does is it provides the beekeeper some assistance if the precipitation levels for the area they're in drop below 90%. So the what do you call it? NOAA, National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, has data going back to 1948 about the precipitation in each of the grids across the United States. They create these grids that are about 14 by 17 miles square. So when we meet, we talk about where your grids are, and then we look at the data for those grids. The program has been available across the United States for a pretty good long time. It started about 2008 or something like that. In 2005, the Department of Agriculture could see that there was a drying, warming trend heading our way. And so they put together a group of agriculture, apiculture folks. My cousin Zach was part of that group. And they came up with the beginnings of this program back in about 2005, 2006. And then it was launched more back east, 2008, roughly. My company's been involved in it since the launch, but it wasn't available in the West, here in Utah, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Wyoming, Idaho, Washington, until after September of 2015. And so now everybody's got it. So the first year in Utah was 2016. So here's basically how the program works. You've got these grids. They're about 14 by 17 mile at this elevation, or at this latitude. That's about what they equate to. So we find that where it is that you have got your yards, and they could be all over in these grids, and they could be all over different states, but we identify where those exist, and then we locate the data for that. And so it looks kind of something like this, only it goes back to 1948. So you can look at a year, say let's look at 2019. Across the top here, this shows the precipitation levels. They do this program by 2-month intervals. So the January, February interval, and I think this was a Colorado location that I had on here, was 104% of the 70-year average. Then 149 in February, March, 154, et cetera. Clear up to 215. And then all of a sudden in the summer, it really dropped down that year. So this is the data that's used, and the program does not provide any assistance to the beekeeper if it's above 90%. So in these months right here, there would not have been any kind of an indemnity or payout to the beekeeper. So we take that data, and we just drop it into some proprietary software, and this is how we determine how and where we're going to insure your yards. We look at this information, and here was 2019. And remember, those first 5-6 months were above 90%, so they're blanked out in this example right here. All of these empty squares were where it was above 90%. And so we look at some of the information across here. We look at, okay, how often, if you had been in the program in 2019 and this 10 years going back in this case, how many times out of those 10 years would have the program helped you? So obviously, 9 times out of 10 is a lot better than a 4 times out of 10. So we take that into consideration. And then there's a payout number down here across the bottom. In the January, February, it paid out 9 times out of 10 and at about 200% of your premium cost. And there is a cost to this. And so that we can take this now, say your premium, you've got 10,000 colonies, your premium would be around $11,000, $13,000 a year. The indemnity in 2019 was a negative 6%. So you would have had to pay the difference between the 12 and the 13 in this case. But then look at 2018, same premium, but you made $50,000 on it, 285% return. And overall, over a 10-year period, the return was 181%. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I was in my credit union yesterday and they weren't even paying 1% return. So it has a real good return, and overall, over a 10-year period, you're going to see a payout. It's designed that way. This is not a traditional insurance program, or I wouldn't be doing it. My dad was a lifetime State Farm insurance agent. I worked with him in his office for a while and I hated it. But this is a completely different situation. This is designed as basically a subsidy type of a program to help beekeepers, ranchers, wool growers. We need you. I want to be able to get a hamburger. I want to be able to put honey on I had honey in my grits this morning. So I like those products. And we didn't have any programs in the past for them. So that's how they designed this. And the only way that they could make it equitable was to use this rainfall index, which makes it quite complicated. But it doesn't matter where you are, it makes it more equitable. So if you're in Hawaii, where there's 454 annual inches of rain, or if you're in Cisco, Utah, where I don't think they get a half an inch, if you get less than 90% of what you're used to, it's going to affect your business. So that's how they came up with this. And so it benefits you no matter where you are. It's just based on the location that you're currently sitting at. So that is, in kind of a nutshell, is how the program functions. What I do is I get with my clients, we sit down and we pull up where your colonies are, and we run it through that exercise. How many colonies do you have, and where are they located? And then we put together a little scenario where we can say, okay, your premium is going to be this, and this is what the past indemnity, if you'd been in the program the last 10 years, this is how it would have paid you. And here's some typical returns, 2012 through 2018. If we had 2019 up there for most people across the United States, it was a bit of a loss. But 2020 killed it. Unbelievable returns. I've got clients who have seen upwards of 500% return during the 2020 year. So it really varies up and down, but in the long run, you're going to see a benefit. So average annual benefits are 100% or more return on premium over a 10-year period. The benefits are paid about 60 days after the interval concludes. So January, February interval would pay in April. Typically it's 45, 50 days, but sometimes it can go a little longer. This is a real simple program to do. I don't have to be invasive into your business. I don't need to know a lot about what you do. We don't have any adjusters. We don't have any claim forms. It's paid automatically once the data is received. And premiums, if there's a premium, it's not due until September 1st of the year that you're insured. So there's no cost to get into the program and nothing due until September 1st of the year that you are in it. And that benefit can be then used for anything that you want. So, you can, of course, build your business, buy some new equipment, or, if your wife needs a better kitchen, maybe that's something you can consider. Here's some of the requirements. You've got to own bees. We've got to identify your yard locations. We need to determine how many colonies you have. And now, obviously, we know, the RMA knows, that number of colonies changes throughout the year. So we kind of go on an average and, what you're used to doing, and we go from there. And then if they see a substantial increase, sometimes they may want to see some kind of a documentation that you either split or you bought some more or whatever, but typically there's not any questions asked. As we're going forward with this program, we're finding more and more that they're asking for lease agreements. And I know it's a ridiculous requirement. I know from being in this business, some of the yards that we have, we've had 100 years, and we might have called it Twin Silos Yard, and we don't even know who the owner is anymore. We just drop the bees off, and then at the end of the year, leaving some rent honey, and everybody's copacetic. But you know, as time goes by, they're wanting to know where the yards are. So that may be something. Of course, then we have to do an application, which is very simple. So it's a very simple program to do. Like I say, there's no upfront cost to get into it. The benefits are based only on the lack of precipitation. There's no benefit if you're getting too much. And here's this right here is a very important part of it. Our average across the United States with all the clients that we have, on average, 7 out of 10 years you get paid. 2 out of 10 years you might have to pay some portion of the premium. Rarely is it 100%. 1 out of 10 years, you might break kind of even. So 80% of the time, you don't pay a premium. And that's the averages across the nation. All colony locations are eligible no matter what time of the year they are utilized. So if you've got bees in California right now, those yards are usable, even though you're going to bring them back home in, you know, next month or in the next 2 months. The Department of Agriculture subsidizes half of the premium. So when you sign up, there is actually a premium, but they pay it. Benefits are paid out when precipitation is less than 90% of the average for your area. So our promise to you is that we're going to conduct a one-on-one personal consultation, go over your specific beekeeping needs as far as what kind of colony numbers you have in your locations. We can do some things to point out how to make it, you know, if we can see that one area is better than another, we can do something with that. We'll provide you an honest assessment and discourage you from doing unnecessary. For example, if it only pays once or twice out of 10 years, we're not going to encourage you to insure your bees in that interval. And we'll keep you informed throughout the year as to how the program's performing. Twice a month, you get an email telling you that, how it's going along. One of the things that's not on here too is I want to make sure that everyone understands that this is a government program. The premiums and payouts, everything is set by the government. And it doesn't matter whether you're dealing with me and Beekeeping Insurance Services or one of our competitors. It's exactly the same program. Nobody has an advantage over another. The only difference is how we may say, okay, well, we're going to insure your bees a little more efficiently because this grid is a little better than this grid. So those kinds of things, we can make some adjustments, but the prices are exactly the same, no matter what company you go with. We've been doing this longer than anybody else, and we've got most of the beekeepers in the United States are with our company. So you can assure that we've had lots of experience with it. So that's kind of it. If there's any questions, I'd be glad to talk about it.
Mike, do you see that there's a couple of questions in the question and answer tab at the bottom of your screen?
Let me click off this thing here and how do I get back to that?
Probably, well, it may be there anyway. Down at the bottom, there's a toolbar. So click the stop sharing and then you're
Oh, I got to do the stop sharing. And it's all gone now. I don't know where it went. I can just see.
We need to go ahead and read them too. One question is, do you also offer insurance for stolen or damaged hives?
We have some policies that are available through that. Anything that's available through the Department of Agriculture, we do those kinds of things. I don't specifically, haven't gotten into that too much, but I know it's available.
The next two questions are somewhat related. One says, would this sort of insurance ever make sense for a backyard beekeeper with less than 10 hives? And another one says, what's the minimum hive number needed?
There are no minimums. However, so let's do a little math and that'll kind of tell you. Let's say you've got 10 colonies. The average premium price on a colony, roughly $15. So you got 10 of them. Your premium is going to be 150 bucks. Is that right? Yeah, 150 bucks. So you make a 200% return or 100% return, that's what it's going to pay out to you during the course of the year. So that's how you can determine whether it's worth messing around with, I guess. Personally, I have 4 hives myself, and I don't even bother with it. You know, it's just, it's gonna, I probably should, but I haven't yet. So this is more designed for guys whose livelihoods are based on the success of their operation. And so we can keep those people in business and provide all of us with honey, pollinate the almonds, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I know I have a couple of backyard beekeepers. They felt like it was worth it, and I have no problem with that. You know, I'm glad to help out any way I can.
Got one presenter asking how to find your contact information.
Say that again.
One presenter asking how to find your contact information.
If you're, just call me, 801-949-6453. Or I don't know how to post up any of that, guys, up on here.
We posted it in the chat just a few minutes ago. So go back through the history, folks, if you want that. And you can find that information.
Yeah. And my email is mbbrowning@ckpinsurance.com. So it's 801-949-6453. You can remember it by 801 why Mike. So, you know, that's why that spells out. That was mostly coincidence, but it works. Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so. I think those are all the questions we had. Also, we want to point out that Mike has an ad that comes up in the advertisements that cycles through. It's got his information on there, so that can be seen there as well. I also want to point out that Mike Browning and CKP Insurance has been a large donor to our organization for the past several years. They've really helped us get this convention really move along from where we were at 10 years ago. Like, we've actually made leaps and bounds from their donations, and we're very grateful for what they have done for our organization.
Thank you. And Jared, I think people need to know also, we contribute hundreds of thousands of dollars every year to the beekeeping industry. I know there was a year that we contributed $30,000 to the study of a colony collapse, and to one university that was studying that. We're very involved in that, and that's we don't do a lot of as much advertising as some. That's how we give back, is by sponsoring organizations like Utah State Beekeepers, and which we're thrilled to do. I'm happy to be able to do it. So thanks for bringing that, Jared. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. So we've got time between now and our next